All right, good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. Today is Wednesday, January 7th. Let's get into it. So, a few things that we got going on here. Got a setup here on the NQ at the 25,746. Considering this a B- setup, they've kind of balanced out a bunch of my TPs here. So in this scenario, the TP1 is pretty damn small at the 25,752, which is about 6 points. And for me, it's might not be the best risk to reward with a stop at the 25,736. So, you know, that's the situation that I see right now on that setup right here. Did take a really nice trade, provided a signal to my signal members late last night and was able to get 15 points on the NQ. That's why you see the P&L at 517 right now. That trade happened this morning. If we look at the ES, so we've got a few things going on here. ES has got a setup at the 69.6250, targeting the 69.65.25. TP2 at the 69.6750. But they stop at the 69.59. Again, entry at the 69.62, TP1 at the 65, TP2 at the 67, with a stop at the 59. On the ES, we also have this setup that we've been mapping out for quite a while at the 68.48, targeting the 854, TP2 at the 859, with the stop at the 843. Okay, in gold, we have a really nice setup up here. I'm going to get into this one right down here. Issue I'm having with this gold setup at the 44.67 is I do see two reactionary zones. That's why you see those two shaded areas where we could get a bounce here either at the 44.67.7 or at the 44.69.6. So again, this would be a scenario where you'd probably want to wait for a candle closure on the 1 minute, or if you have a footprint chart up, I would wait for a footprint confirmation to see at what area here is going to be your best bet. The other gold setup that I have is a short at the 44.98.6, targeting the 44.95.6, and then the 44.92.8 for TP2, with a stop at the 45.04.20. So jump back over to the NQ. All right, so we'll see here. Whoa. We did have a good fair amount of high impact news here this morning. So we went through ADP employment change at 7:15. We had, well, and then we have upcoming, we've got U.S. JOLTS openings, ISM PMI, service manufacturing, U.S. factory orders, and ISM services PMI at 9 a.m. And then oil inventory report at 9:30 this morning. So good amount of news here coming up. The one that's obviously the closest to us is going to be that 9 a.m. So we'll kind of sit here and see what setups present themselves. Paul, good morning. Coach Cleats, good morning. Mary Thomas, good morning. Steve, good morning. All right, so now gold. Let's see if I can find this one a little bit better. This looks a lot more inviting now than even this setup here. So let me take these TPs off. Probably move this guy right there. Let's make this stop loss. All right. So taking a look at this gold setup. Let's see here now. Let's get rid of this guy. Morning, Key. All right, nothing new on the NQ. So remember ES looking at 69.6250, targeting the 69.65 and a quarter. TP2 at the 69.6750 with the stop at the 69.59. All right, now let's see here. See here if we can get a footprint confirmation or not. I'm sorry, I don't have the footprint chart like I do for the NQ and the ES. I will set that up tonight, but I do have it now on my screen here. I just didn't set up the screen for it yet. I do, yeah. So I'm currently on the 8 range for the footprint on gold. So 4 range for the ES, 20 range on the NQ, and an 8 range on gold. And I will add a screen like this for gold. I just don't have that yet. I was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday, just getting the studio down here ready. So I haven't been down here in about 2 weeks, so I had to update everything, get everything running. So the NQ could see a reaction right here. See if I can find a better target here. Let's go back to the NQ. It's not super clean though. More than likely going to see a reaction here at this area right here. My entry on this guy would be somewhere right around here. It's just, it looks a little sweepy to me right down here. Right here is a little sweepy for me, so not an area. Let me just put this line here just so you can see the number. Let's go back into gold here. Yeah. So it was this original, it was the bigger box here. You could see it tapped right in, 0 drawdown. And that sucker moved. That one took off. Tapped right into in the higher time frame area. This would have been a better entry down here, but that's okay. We'll keep looking. Oh, fuck. I was looking at the freaking ES setup here. And you can see that GC just literally tapped right in. 0 drawdown right there. TP1. This is the issue when you add another instrument. You got now 3 things to look at because found a nice little setup here on the ES. Yeah, I know. So did I miss it. Dang it. That was a good one. So we do have news in about 13 minutes here. Let's jump over to the ES. All right, let's take a look and see what the 91s are doing over here. Okay. Yeah, I like the setup here. 69.91 and a quarter, targeting the 69.93. Only issue that I see right now is news at 9 a.m. No, Key, I missed it. I was mapping out this trade here on the ES, and it tapped right into my that entry so quickly. That looked like it just grazed TP2 there. So again, my issue with this ES signal here is the fact that we've got news kind of coming in about 11 minutes here. So I would say if we get an entry here in the next minute or two, I'll consider taking this trade here. I think I missed TP2 here by, I don't know, probably a tick. Yeah, 497 contracts sitting up there. You guys can see how well the reactionary points are on these scalps. I think there we probably tapped in. No, looks like we missed it still by a tick there. I mean, zero drawdown there on that trade, on that setup. And I'll explain this one in a little bit. I'm having an issue with that one. It's kind of a weird buffer time here for me now for this ES trade. Don't really like the timing of this one. But I'll see here if we get a footprint confirmation or not. A lot of contracts being absorbed here. Just got to be really careful with the algorithms that start kicking in with the headlines, high impact news. I mean, a lot of positive delta there. 254 contracts just went through there. Let's move this to the 1 minute. We did not tap into TP1 yet, though. Came close. Oh, that was a good footprint right there. Like, I would be in this trade right now. That was a good footprint confirmation for me. I just, with the timing of news, I know I might regret it, especially seeing gold and ES going without me. But so that's TP1 right there. So I could take the footprint off. Did get a very good footprint confirmation there, guys. Right there, -38 delta green footprint. This would have been my entry confirmation. Yeah, right there. So far, just TP1 on that trade. Got pretty close to TP2, but did not tap in. It's funny, this is like one of the first clean setups that I've seen on the ES. There you go, TP1 and TP2. All right, well, 2 trades missed there, but setups are there. Is the 874? Oh, that's one sitting above us, isn't it? Don't have this one. I have that on my laptop. Hold on. Let me take a look. Well, didn't that already? Yeah, that looked like it. I did not have that one up on my screen, but that was a there was a signal there at the 25,874.50. Mother. I had that one mapped out on my laptop, which I was using the last 2 weeks. Yeah. That signal went for TP1 and TP2. TP2 at the 57. Yeah. All right, guys, I need a breather. I'm going to be back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to let these news go. I need to just walk around a little bit. It's been I just don't like what's been occurring right now. Give me a few minutes.
200. Yep. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry, just had to need a little cooling off period there. So I had a signal at the 25, 870, 450 on the NQ. Had this mapped out already on my laptop that I've been using the last 2 weeks in Florida. Thought I got all my charts set up already this morning or late last night. I was up until about 2 a.m. Perfect tap in right there. Zero drawdown, TP1 and TP2 on that trade. Of course, I totally missed it. Could also make a point that it's very close to an invalidation there as well. So, but I just wasn't even looking at it. All right, so we do have an area that was left unbalanced up here. Did get tapped into. It's a good example, a good teaching moment here. So even though we do have a level that would sit right here, you guys should all know how to create this level here. You can see that on the move down, it did have to dip right back into this unbalanced area. So this did balance out volume on the way to the downside. So if you look at the higher time frame, it might look like a great trade or great unbalanced area. Secondary issue is that this move right here is that 9 a.m. news. So as you guys know, I do not put really much emphasis on unbalanced volume areas on news events. Okay, because there's a lot of impulsive orders that come into the market at that point, and volume starts to get a little wacky there. So there's a few things here that invalidated that particular setup. So we'll keep looking here. So missed the ES trade for TP1, TP2, missed the NQ trade for TP1, TP2, and I missed the gold trade for TP1 and TP2. So not the kind of morning that I want to start, but it's on me. I'm going to leave this setup here on the NQ. I've already given you guys my reasoning. This is about probably a B- setup. We've got pretty small targets here on the NQ. Market did balance out TP2s and almost TP1 pretty strongly here around 6:30 this morning. So if you are going to take this setup down here, I would be looking at the TP1 scenario, which is only 6 points, and the stop loss is pretty big. It's 10 points, so not the greatest risk to reward there. But it's what I see. I would rather wait for a fresh new setup here. Same thing with gold. So if I jump over to gold, I think I explained this one to you guys already. Having a hard time with this gold setup here for a short. I see two areas here where I can see a pretty good reactionary point. One being the 4467.7, and then the other one being at the 4469.6. So in a scenario like this trade, I would really need to wait for either a 1 minute candle confirmation close, you know, some kind of candle formation that that gives me a rejection pattern. I don't know why my gold chart, well, on my laptop and on my home PC, my gold chart for some reason lags just a little bit, and I don't know why. Or a footprint candle, like how what we have for the NQ and the ES. The only issue being that in gold, you're going to need to move to an 8 range footprint chart. And then gold did have an area of unbalanced volume sitting right here, which we probably could see a reaction here at the 44.58. The only reason why I'm not taking an actual trade here is, again, this was the 9 a.m. Headline news push. And I think the only thing that that we've got pending is oil inventory report at 9:30. Oh, you can't see my gold chart very well. There we go. Let's make sure the NQ you could see. Yes, ES. So the ES, I need to move just right there. Morning, Nate. Thanks, bud. Eugene had a question. So, Rob, why would you post B setup trades? I thought we were only going after A plus setups. Yeah, that's why it's not in my signal group. I mean, it's going to be a high reactionary point. So on a scalp trade, you know, if you're looking for a quick scalp, that is going to be a pretty high reactionary area, Eugene. But that's why I even put it up there that it's a B minus setup. And another thing too that I like to personally do is if I find areas like this, like the 25,746, what I like to do is and this is what I've always done for the last 9 or 10 months. Obviously, when I'm not on stream, you don't see it. But what I like to do is I like to map my setups out, and I like to mark off what I don't like from them, what I see that I do like from them, and I like to see how the trade plays out. Even though I might not get into that trade, I do like to see it, how it forms. Now here on YouTube, obviously, I put the I put it here as to, okay, this is not a trade that, you know, I probably would be leaving a resting limit order on, or even probably taking. But if you don't keep mapping out setups that you like and see how they react, you'll never get a good sense of the market. You'll never get a good feeling for how the market's reacting, because it shifts. I mean, we've seen the shift, you know, in December, and here in early January, and I need to get a handle on the shift. So the only way for me to do it is visually looking at it. And unfortunately, I don't have any other way of doing it besides putting it here on the screen. So I'm doing how I would normally trade. That's how I'm trading here on the live stream. So hopefully that answers your question there, Eugene. Good question. It was a good question. So gold is pretty much consolidating right now, wants to probably break out and test into this liquidity down here, but not a strong enough move yet. We'll keep an eye on that one. Yes. Yes, we got to get down to the 6960s to see something good here. All right, 20 minutes for IB. Be right back. Let me refresh my coffee. All right, I'm back. Let's see what's going on at the 62s. It might not show me yet, but... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bookmap is... Man, that's a great area right here. This is a fantastic setup right here, guys. Let me just make sure that... So, 7... Let's take a look at the NQ. So the NQ just left a little bit of area, little area here. Well, they didn't break structure, which is my biggest issue right now. I would want them to break structure for this to really, for this to be a super high quality setup. And then... Yeah, they did kind of balance this out here. So I'm just going to look to see what kind of reaction I get here at this shaded area. What I would see that they left unbalanced to target as far as a TP would be right here. which again is actually right there. This is at the 852. It's picking up a little bit of volume, but nothing super exciting. Again, I would want to see this move break structure, which tells me that it's definitely got this was a move here, an intentional move to balance out the unbalanced volume that was sitting down here. So it needs that strength to do that. And if it doesn't have the strength, it's when you see minor pullbacks. And then right now they left right here. So that would be my secondary target. My stop would look something like this. Actually, right around here. Load stop loss. Looks like they reacted right. Yeah, looks like they reacted where my original shaded area was at. Yeah, not the greatest. Not the greatest setup right here. My entry would have been right around here. Just didn't have all the pieces that I'm looking for in my setup. But I'll just leave this up on the screen. We'll see how it kind of reacts here. I mean, it seems like today's the day for me missing trades, so it would make sense to play out. So now, considering where they balanced out TP1, now my scenario would look something like this. For them to take out TP2 at this point, I would think that they would take this out to then target here. Because this didn't have what I would typically look for again for an A+ setup. Obviously, I can find an easy TP1 there. They left this unbalanced. But this is how the structure that I would see now to get to this TP2, which again would knock you out of that trade if you're still targeting TP2. All right, so gold. Let's take a look at gold really quick here. Gold did leave now an unbalanced volume area. And they left that unbalanced. That's all I can find right now. Load. Stop. Load entry. And TP. All right, so small scalp here on the on gold. Short at the 44.49.1. Let's see if we can get a hold of this guy. And then I'll let you know if I see a footprint confirmation here. So we also have kind of a reactionary zone right here. It's sitting at the 44.47, which could be the move. But this one, the 44.49.1, definitely better risk to reward on that one. I don't have a TP2 yet, but if we do get, if we continue going up, then I obviously can put a TP2 in this region right here. Actually, probably sitting right here. But I got to see if they balance this out or not. Nope. TP, not a grid. See, I don't know why my chart is just pretty much moving on its own. So this is your high probability play right here. If you want to get in early, maybe not and not miss the move, the 44.47 could be a better entry. Like I said, I'm just going to have to wait for a footprint confirmation here, which we're getting pretty close to it. Hey, Kevin. So there was the tap of the 47s. No footprint confirmation yet. So now let's see if we get a reaction here at the 44.49. And apologies, I don't have the footprint chart up right now, but I will have that by tomorrow. So far, this footprint here looks like, oh, no, spoke too soon. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. A lot of buying pressure just came in. So I can kind of get rid of this guy here. We don't need him anymore. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. There we got one. Did get a small footprint confirmation, but this looks a little sweepy now. Like they might want to just take out these highs here. Yeah, it looks like they're going to sweep this area right here. And it's a prime example of where a footprint chart will kind of keep you out of a bad trade there. Still high buying pressure. Obviously went through a big stop loss, a stop hunt right there. And I wish trust me guys, by tomorrow I'll have this on the screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at, like how I have on the NQ and the ES. I just don't have it set up right now on gold. Didn't have the time last night. Okay, so good non-trade there. Get rid of this setup. All right, let's switch over to the IB. Let's see. Well, this is playing out pretty similar to what I thought it would. See if they still may move it down. All right, IB high. Let's get rid of this thing here. Let's go on to our footprint. Now, what I'm looking for on the IB initial balance high is, again, I'm looking for my footprint candle to tap into this IB line, which is at the 25,880. And then what I'd like to see is a delta flip, divergence, and green, a red footprint candle with positive delta, which is coming up here pretty quickly. Let's see. Almost. A lot of positive delta on that first candle. It's churning. So this one might be a tough one just because this, if you guys look at this candle here, it had 206 positive delta. So it is going to be a little tough for the market to, let's see, they might give us a flip here. I know they got the 900s up here that they could be looking at. A lot of liquidity sitting up there. Let's see here. All right, that was a good flip there. Let's see if I get a decent candle closure here. So this is a perfect footprint confirmation here. It's what I'm looking for. All right, I'm in this trade now. Again, the only thing that I have kind of to worry for is a sweep of the 900s. They could be coming for that, but it's 15 point take profit, 15 point stop loss on this trade, always. And then as far as leaving things unbalanced, I've kind of done a good job of balancing most of the crap out, which is a little unfortunate for this trade. This would be an area that they could want to target right there. Let's see if they come after the 900s or if we can somehow Resurrect this one. And yes, you could put your stop behind the 900s. That would give you an added piece of protection. But I have a rule on my 15-point stop, 15-point take profit. And that took a loser there. So we'll see if the 900 is what gives them protection. I typically don't like to see a big volume area so close to where my stop would be, because that would always be a natural area for them to want to also target. Like, you know, as I just mentioned, you know, a stop over the 900 would probably be your best bet here. But I've got a rule on that trade where I just limit it to the 15 points. You know, you start adjusting and you don't really end up never knowing where the end of the adjustment could be. I mean, that was a fantastic, look at this candle here. Look at this footprint right here. That was 151 positive, 151 positive delta, still a red footprint candle. So this could be an area where you could see a reversal here. Kind of par for the course for me. Four winning setups mapped out and end up taking on the loser. Okay. But that IB trade is pretty reliable. And I mean, kind of had it pictured in my head how it could have worked out. But followed my rules, got the footprint confirmation, did get a small push. An issue that I had. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's all I needed. Was that big pocket of liquidity sitting right there where I had my circle put in. Matches up pretty perfect. So obviously they left just an absolute shit ton of unbalanced volume there, but I got to take a look at let me see my news. If anything just come out crazy. Oh, gas report came out really jacked up, huh? Gasoline stockpiles rise for the latest week and the highest since January of 2020. Interesting. So I don't necessarily would like to take a trade here again from the, but there is definitely a reactionary area right there. But it originated from that very large source of orders that came out. Just a little unpredictable here, so I don't think I'm going to take a setup here. Good job, Key. Yeah, it was 100 point. That was a 100 point move right there. Could also kill you too. A move like that, stops might not even have been protected there. If you're trying to take a long. Even though it doesn't show it with all of the mishaps that I had this morning on missing trades, it does feel pretty freaking awesome to be back home trading. So much easier. All right, show you guys this little setup here on gold. Gold did leave a nice unbalanced pocket here at the 44.42.8. And I'll be targeting the 44.46.7 and the 49.9 with a stop at the 44.37.4. So this is a setup here in gold. Let's take a look at the NQ. This was the area that I noticed would have a decent reaction. But again, just a little unpredictable there with that massive move to the downside. Let's take a look at the NQ here. Yeah, see, I didn't have a good feeling about that. Putting a lot of weight on that initial move up there. Let's get rid of the IV. We don't need him anymore. Now let's take a look at this area right here. Yeah. Having a hard time with this one. Having a hard time. And my issue here on the NQ is I've got two areas that are both pretty juicy. And I don't like that. I definitely don't like two areas of liquidity, of unbalanced volume so close to each other, because then it's difficult. It's a 50-50 proposition at that point to see which one of these is the one that's going to work, you know? And again, you can play it with your footprint confirmation. You can actually minimize risk down to about right there. So this would be like the first area right here. Stop there. But this is a very strong area. You know, obviously you can see the impulsive move, break of structure, pretty big structure, because this is a big market participant right there. So this is going to be a very strong area of reaction. I could tell you that right now. I'm just having a very hard time finding which one of these two zones is the area that that they might want to come after. Which doesn't really help. Sorry, Key, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. My bad on that. How do we get into the new group? Here we go. So all right, Key, if you look in the chat, there's a link there to get you into the Signal group. Key, I believe you're in my Discord group, though, right now. So that's going to be a little bit different. What I need you to do, so I'm going to say, Key. All right, Key, to just take a look at that message I just sent on chat. I am not. Morgan, no. I'll be honest with you, 100% honest with transparent on the entry tool. If I was trading my cash, I would actually, I would 100% be using that Michael's automated system for my signals. I feel like it's the absolute best way, the most organized way to take your trades. And it already gives you the footprint confirmation, Scalp built in. If you've really got to read up on the rules with some of the prop firms that are out there. Even though you're typing in where the entry and the stop and the take profit is going to be at, so it's not like the system is coming up with the strategy for you. So it's not an algo or a bot, but raw data, they do on the back end, they do see if the trade could be originated from a strategy or not. So it would probably be some explanation just with the firms that don't like that, that don't want anything automated or a bot or something like that, even though this is not a bot, or that is not a bot that Michael created. I think in the end, you'll probably be okay. But if I was trading cash, it would 100% be on there. And if I wasn't trading with such a diverse group of prop firms, I would also be trading it, because I would just single it out to the ones that I know that don't have an issue at all. Like funding ticks would be fine to use. Yeah, Arshak. Let me put this up here. So right now, on the new Signal portal, you're getting obviously the notification on the desktop. Download the app, because that will also give you a pop-up notification on the new Signal. You're getting the email. The only thing that is missing, which I mentioned a few times on screen and for my text message, is I need to get the last approval from Verizon. So here you can see what I'm talking about. So for me to send out business texts, I had to get the brand status approved, which it was. And it's been approved by almost every carrier minus Verizon. They said that it was going to take like 3 to 5 days, but that was about 7 days ago. So it's on its way. And everybody at behind the scenes is telling me that I should have an approval shortly. Yes, Arshak. So if you go into the Signal chat, the mobile app is pinned right at the top, so you can download the mobile app and put it on your phone or tablet. Same thing for the masterclass. For those of you that purchased the masterclass training, it's also available on an app. So I'm going to update that to somewhere in the class too, or maybe I'll just send an email out so that you guys know that. Sorry, I know that was really loud. Sorry, here I am. Sorry about that. Hopefully you heard everything I said there. But yeah, this NQ setup here is not something that I would consider to be anywhere near A+. This would be in the B minus category, just because of the fact that we do have these two high probability areas of reaction where, it's a 50-50 toss up because they're so close that we could get the reaction here or we could get the reaction there. And that is the part that kind of sucks because, that means that you take a stop right here. So that's the issue there. This ES trade looks fantastic. And the GC trade here in gold also looks very, very nice as well. All right, guys. I will see you guys here tomorrow at the market open. I'm really liking how I'm looking at the markets, to be honest with you. These last week or two have really been a little bit of an eye-opener. And you can see that we're aiming for base hits now, and I think that that's the name of the game. All right, guys, take care.